Hello, 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 and welcome. Huh? I wish I had seen that. Oh, I do. Guys, it's my lunch scene. I'm gonna turn off the lunch text. Didn't I just tell the lunch text to go away? Anyway, do you see the deer? There's a deer. Silly bot. Yeah, I since I didn't stream it all last week, I figured that I would go ahead and update the Discord directly. But anyway, look, a deer. A deer. A deer. I think it's a buck too. Yeah. I want to watch this for the whole stream, but I won't. Hi, hi everyone. I'm here. Last week was I'm glad I took the week to not stream because it's very busy times. Very multiple busy times. And I don't feel like I really caught up on stuff. Still feeling pretty swamped. But that's okay. We're going to keep on going. So, what we're going to do is continue working on the financial management project. We're going to get this thing done. At the moment, I believe the last thing that we left off with was getting the ad. Ad? Yeah, the lookup management stuff to show up. So, if you're trying to add an account, the ad account will show up, but it won't dismiss itself. Why is it commented out though? But anyway, hi Mojo. I hope you had a great week last week and are having a good start to your week this week. CD Finance Man Wasm. Server. Done now watch. Hopefully you can hear me. I didn't even check my mic. There's like a million things that I typically do that I've already forgotten how to do. But it looks like everything is going. Looks like the stream is going. Looks like we have music coming through for the live stream, that is. And my mic seems to be coming through. Cool. Yeah. So the time off of streaming was very beneficial and helpful because last week really a whole bunch of stuff did just happen that I wasn't expecting to happen, that I really needed the full mental capacity and energetic freedom, I guess, to throw my energy where it was needed. One thing that I have not resolved yet was I think I took too long between the last time that I started my car and the time that I tried to start my car, and I think the battery's dead. And so now I need to get I have some decisions to make on whether to get a mechanic to come out and look at it to see if he could just jump it or to actually bring a battery. And so I was going to do that last week as one of the many things, and I didn't at all. So that was fun. Okay. So there was a thing that I remembered happening last, and I was pretty sure that we got the ad ad account dialog to show, and then when I thought that I was dismissing it, it wasn't actually dismissing. So I don't know why it was commented out just now. but we discommented it, and there it is. So I cancel, and then I will do something that causes a re-render, which is, yeah, just changing a drop-down value, for example. And so cancel is not actually setting my show at account to false.
False.
Even though I'm doing at bind show. Hello, Marcus. Marcus voice coda. I'm so blind. I'm looking for stuff. The end. I'm looking for stuff. Okay, so we have this at bind show that when I dismiss my dialog, then it's allowed to be null. Then it should two-way binding change my value for show all the way up the line, because it says handle cancel clicked. If show changed has delegate, then invoke show changed, which is being handled here in the templated question dialog, which then sends it up to the add account dialog, which I have at bind show. Aha, I have a note to myself. So helpful. Okay, so this is not triggered when the underlying templated question dialog show changed. So what I need to do, right, because we're not actually setting the parameter at that point in time. So what I think I'm going to do instead is, I don't like doing it this way. I'm going to turn this into a full property. And in set, which this is the thing that I really don't like, is if previous value does not equal value, actually if yeah, then we'll set previous value equal to value. And I do this the other way. If value equals previous value, then don't do anything because we're not changing anything. Otherwise, set previous show equal to value, and then if show changed has delegate, then invoke show changed. And that way, whenever we're changing the value of show, then we will run this logic. As of .NET 7 maybe, or maybe it was an update to Visual Studio, we're now getting these in-editor warnings that say parameters should be auto properties. And it's kind of funny because this was the pattern that I learned from when I was watching all of the Blazor videos. And so this was an official .NET presenter that showed this pattern of invoking the show changed for two-way binding. So we're going to see if this actually works now, where I push add, I hit cancel. Yeah, so now it stays, now the actual value of show does change for two-way binding. Wow, words are hard. It's been a while since I've had to use them. Okay, so that takes care of our dialog issue, with not having it respond to the actual cancel dismissing the window. So the thing that I would really like to do, really like to do, is hook into the confirm and cancel logic. And the way that I'm going to do that is on confirm and on cancel. I think that's what they're called. Hello templated question. Unconfirmed clicked and on cancel clicked. Oh no. Whoops. We're going to do handle clicks. We're going to copy. We're going to go back and we're going to make a couple of method stubs for private task. Do the two things. And they are both for now just going to return task completed task. Oh, wait, if I do this, then I might not need to. Oh. I was going to say then I might not need to do the full property thing, but I do because I don't have a way to call the templated question dialog dot close. Nothing like writing two methods at once, but you can't do it all the way though. What do you mean you can't do it all the way? I just did. This is how the methods are going to look. This is the end of it. I don't need to write any actual logic in them. As if they need to do actual work. I don't actually think that I need cancel, by the way. Cancel is just going to be dismiss the dialogue. So I didn't even need to do that. But it was fun. Okay. So I believe that I'm going to want to use my, lookup list state or lookup list service. The accounts are held in lookup list state. But the actual thing that is going to allow me to update to add accounts and modify accounts to the database is the lookup list service. So do I want both of them? Does my lookup list state already have a reference to lookup list service? It does. So maybe I'll just use the lookup list state and create a method in it for adding or updating. And this will need to be a task. Bless you. Oh boy. Tired throat. Task from result. This doesn't actually need to return the lookup item. Or does it? I don't think this does. I think this just needs to tell anyone that's listening that the lookup list has changed, that the lookup item cache has changed. And so what we'll do is we will notify property changed, name of lookup item cache on success. So we don't need you to return the actual lookup item. I mean, we'll do that. Yes. Cool. And so what I'll do after adding, so to do send the lookup item to the service to be added to the database. Sure, why not? Let's add more words. I already used too many words and this thing wants to give me more words to use. Oh my gosh. Is to uh, notify that this is done. And so I said we'll do notify property changed. Is that what it's called? Raise property change. Raise. What is it called? How do I manually trigger notify property changed? Let's just add it. Protected void notify property changed. Raise proper. Gosh, raise property changed, and then we'll have string property name, and then we'll raise it that way. I guess that is what this is doing, huh? So that really shouldn't say on property changed. I'm changing those. I'm going to call these two raise property changed and raise property changing. I like that better. It's more descriptive. So raise property changed, name of, lookup item cache. But now I'm also going to need something that will let us know whether this is successful or not. Because if it's not successful, it's not going to raise property changed. So maybe I do want this to actually give us back the response model. Yeah, I think I want that. Data is what I called it. Good item. So anyway, it has been a little while. How are each of you? Do you have any stories to tell? Do you have anything that happened over the past week that you weren't able to say, at least on this stream? Maybe you said it on other people's streams, but you haven't said it here. Anything you want to talk about that happened to you over the past week? You said it in Discord, but definitely a good place to say it here too. Marcus says I got my HoloLens too. What? Is Deflux making you all buy HoloLenses after our Friday stream? And Mojo indicated in Discord that they had their discussion about re-architecting the project that he's working with, and they are moving to microservices. So awesome. it would show as int in production if the migration was not applied to production DB. Man. Okay, hold on. I need to take a look at something really quick. Yeah, this is going to happen a lot, most likely. But yeah, thought I would be able to control the PC with it, but it appears not. You can still, hold on. I was pretty sure you could. Now I'm using a wireless keyboard and mouse that are connected to my PC, but I could have sworn that you could still tap on the screen on the virtual monitor using Mirage. Which also means that gaze might work too if you have gaze turned on. Look up item. Nope, resp. Mirage. Sorry for the flashy light. You could also use RDP. You don't need to format. Don't worry about it. I will assume that your hyphens are bullets. Okay, so I got connected. Here is my, whatever this is called. So I am streaming this monitor, the one that is currently streaming on stream. And that is where? Whoa, up there and upside down. Why are you upside down? Excuse me. Okay. Oh, geez, you're so big. Okay. Here we go. And not only that, but it's also outputting. Okay, so I'll take a picture of this, but how do you take a picture? Oh, I gotta turn voice on or just do camera. No. Dang it. Dude. Okay, so the thing that really sucked about that was the top bar shows up, but when you're in camera mode, the top bar goes away. So maybe I can find it in on their site real quick. But while I'm looking for this, Mojo said, we hope we're being smart about it. We are actually developing a new product, so we're going to extract the shared valuable feature and put it into a microservice, launch new product with microservices, migrate current main product over once the bulk of the architecture is set up. That sounds like a great strategy. It's a fantastic strategy. Okay, so Marcus, this top bar here, one of these buttons is disable touch. And I think you need to have that unchecked. So this is me using the HoloLens virtual screen. Hello? Oh, and you have to turn it off of disable touch. Hello. Anyway, you can see that I'm moving the thing around, but it's not actually letting me. Yeah, you saw open the context menu when I had my finger held down, but it's not actually doing the touch gesture. Interesting. Like it'll work when you're sliding. Oh, yeah. So Edge for HoloLens definitely works the way that you would expect it. Oh, there it goes. So I was just now able to push the play button on my virtual screen controlling that monitor. Yeah, pause it by tapping on the video. Yeah. So I think my camera is just a little bit off. I haven't calibrated it in a while. Okay, and Amin is here. Did we become cyborg? Are we all out of jobs or still employed? I'm still employed. I've been getting headaches with it. I guess I need to take it steady and get used to it. Yeah, so it did take me a while, and it was mostly because I needed to calibrate it because it was trying to make my eyes diverge when my eyes, I think, naturally converge a little. So just make sure you've ran through the calibration with the whole gazing at the thingies. And as I said before, tilt the visor so that it's pretty much this portion is resting on your nose so that it's kind of going at an angle down on your face. That typically helps to make the visuals actually feel like they are in your direct field of view and not skewed. And I have a Windows update. Okay, that's going to do it. Ugh. Did we fix global warming? I mean, we have not fixed anything. So if I didn't know any better, it just looks like he's doing stage work. Absolutely. It's all fake. Okay. Okay. So there's that. There's that. Do we have any pictures of it being in use? Yeah, it's really it's really hard to take a picture with the little bar that appears at the top here. Because the only way that that bar shows up is if it has the cursor on it, the tethered line. You came back. I needed some World Cup predictions. Yeah, it was a very, very busy time, and it's still going to be very busy. I'm going to do my best to keep uh, the stream going. We'll see what happens. But like right now, I'm being contacted about a thing that could use a little bit of attention. Look at this one. Yeah. So that's what my guess is. Oh, that was a cool sound. I think the update. Oh, it's still downloading. Um, there. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I will respond to chat here very shortly. Okay. Whew. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. I'm definitely not going to be buying any new screens for a while. True. Yeah. So I really, really like that you can still use your PC as the thing that controls your screens, regardless of whether that's using voice or using keyboard and mouse. The problem is if you happen to be far away from your PC and the thing that you are using to control your PC doesn't reach it, then all you have are screens that are watching your PC or your whichever monitor or device you're using to cast the monitors, displays, whatever. You know what I'm trying to say. Okay, so catching up on Chato. Uh, and I needed some World Cup predictions, he said. And then, are we still using phones or it's integrated into our brain? So many questions. Why did you remove the headset? Because I want to get the stream project completed. How can I do Control Shift V with my eye? Yeah, exactly. You say paste, but that's about it. I don't even know if it has a paste keep um, target formatting. Paste with paste with. I don't know how it's written. Paste is plain text. Jeez. Right. Yeah. So if you want to turn gaze on, you say the word select, and then you have a dot that acts as your pointer. And then you say select again to do the actual selecting, to do the click, tap gesture. But yeah, definitely loved being able to have a virtual monitor, virtual display that had my Visual Studio on it, virtual display that had my Twitch, whatever I happened to be streaming, and I had 4 windows up there before I knew about multi-stream. And then what? And then what? And then I had one more screen that had, all of my research stuff in the app that I was working on. So one was Visual Studio, one was the browser that had the app that I was working on, and one was whatever streams I happened to be lurking on. Kind of like I have here with physical displays. Yeah, exactly. That is one thing that I don't quite understand how that works. There should still also be multiple types of gestures. Like we should be smart enough to come up with multiple types of gestures that are still accessibility that don't involve using voice. So we have the option of using voice. We have the option of using typical hand gestures. There should be other gestures as well. And the hard one is fully typing, but like gaze gesture is definitely already a thing. It's been a thing for a long time. But I'm still thinking of other ways. Gaze, gaze, Scott, gaze. So gaze gesture is when you look at something and you keep your focus on it, and then depending on how long you keep your focus on it, that's what causes the select to happen without needing to say select, without needing to blink. Yeah, I control the mouse with the camera and a reflective strip that helps me a lot. That's cool. Non-binary gestures, exactly. Okay, okay. So I investigated that. I can close that. Go away. I click on this. I can see you guys. I click on this. I could see simple. And we'll continue. So we have a way to open the dialog, close it, and keep it closed. It's like for real closed, not for fake closed. You know? Okay, so we need to actually implement the logic for when you fill in your new account that you want to add. Select the account type. When you click the add button, we want to send it to the service, and that service will attempt to add this to the database. And if there are any errors, we want to display it up here, all of that fun stuff. So to do that, in our add, yeah, so we have all of the logic here except for sending it to the actual service to add it. So we're going to, for now, add an error that says this is not yet implemented so that we can see this case happen on screen. And in our add account form, code behind, submit form is here. This is where we need the lookup list state. If formatted context is null, right. Var ret resp. Oh, no. We're going to have an actual response model here. Private response model of account entry view model. No. Of what? Of account entry view model. That doesn't seem right. It should just be account view model, I think. Confused. Okay. Marcus is saying now taking Twitch to the kitchen. Yeah, I had my HoloLens on when I first got it, like, I don't know, almost 12 hours a day, on the weekends at least. And I used it for all of my displays, and I sat on the couch and I would have screen, 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 screen. I don't know if I have one of those Picos. Dropbox. I think it's an image projects. HoloLens Picos. HoloLens. Camera uploads, obviously. Yeah. So code there. And then if I was using it, oh, wait, this is where I wasn't using the actual screen, I don't think. Maybe I was. But anyway, a mix of the actual screen, a virtual screen, and then I had a stream going on somewhere else. Anyway, it was fun. It was good. God wants to know, is coding using the lens good? Yeah, so the text is a lot more readable now than on HoloLens original. And I find it easy to read as long as you blow up the screen big enough and have it like a good distance away. So I would say maybe 2 meters. Is that too far? 1 to 2 meters away for Europeans. 6 feet ish away. I guess not really just Europeans, but rest of the world. Yeah, it's just nice having it further away but bigger screen as opposed to closer and smaller screen, because it's still going to be relative size when you try to interact with it, especially with the tether cursor. I don't know what the official term for that is. Hello, Goku Jax. Happy Monday to you. Happy Monday to you. This doesn't seem like the right type, though. It's lookup account. No, not lookup account type. It's definitely account view model that I'm wanting back. Account lookup view model. is what I saw on the list. Are you a I lookup item view model? Yeah, you are. Okay, so that should work. Then we'll say, yeah, I really need this to translate to account entry view model. Oops. um, I forgot how to do this. Scott says, "Hi, Oku, Goku, Oku, Oku." But yeah, I really did enjoy doing a lot of work inside of the HoloLens. I guess. Are you done with the updating? 56%. But I started kind of getting afraid because I was using it so much, and it's not super heavy, but it was causing a lot of tension on the back of my neck, and it was getting hard for me to turn my head without it just aching all the time. I'm like, maybe I need to get some neck muscles, but I don't want a bulky neck. That would just be terrible. Mm. Yeah, what I think I'm going to do is have a helper method that will do to view model. Somebody already made this decision. Oh, wait. That's account. My bad. I need this thingy. There we go. What I think I'm going to do is make a new account and then have that to view model. Like so. Okay. So Goku is saying, why don't you create a base generic class with the common use service and properties and inherit from it? Be a little more specific. Because I am doing a lot of generics and a lot of base classes. It's just now we were wanting to create a specific type. So lookup item view model is the base class. And then I have it as a generic where the generic is T entity from the database. And so this is one of those entities, for example. Created. Okay, I mean in Blazor. This is all using Blazor? Yeah, I'm still kind of I understand what it means, but I'm trying to figure out what you mean in the context of what we're doing. So right now we have a lookup item entry form, essentially. And this lookup item entry form is specific to accounts. And so that's this add account form. And so what we can do, and this is what I think you might be saying, but I didn't want to read into it too much because it might not be, and then you'll just say, yes, it is what I'm saying, is add lookup item entry form is a base form that will be a templated question with handle confirm clicked and all of this stuff. And then the question content will be based off of the actual type of lookup item that you were trying to maintain, that you're trying to add. And then the common functions will actually be the handle confirm clicked. Wait, where am I if add account dialog, add account form? Oh, right. We're just in the add account form. So then the submit form would be essentially in the base class since they are all using the same methodology. And what I would do is make sure that each of my entry models has a method to view model. But the thing is that like something like the add account needs extra methods. So when you add a new account lookup item, you're actually needing to not only add the account, but create a starting balance transaction. So a deposit that is a starting balance. Everything else shouldn't have any special rules. Nothing else should have any special rules as far as lookup items go. So that's why I chose to do add account first. And then the rest of the lookup items will have their own generic way of doing this. And then if I can also get the add account to work the same, then yeah, we'll get that to work. But yeah, saying something as vague as make a base class, have things inherit from it, it's not the most helpful. um, because I don't know how it would specifically apply to this. So we have a lookup item base, which has a name, sort order, last updated, and deleted. Okay, so yeah, so the only thing that we really needed to populate was name and lookup account type ID. So we don't need these two. And so now we have our model that we're going to send, which means we don't need the actual, we do need that. You are going to be lookup this state add, oh, right. But I didn't put that in the interface. I only put that in the implementation. So we need you. in the interface. What are you angry about? TLOOKUP item must be a reference type. Oh, right. I didn't know that you actually needed to put the constraints inside of the interface. Interesting. Except that I did right below. So maybe I did know. Excuse me. So add lookup item, count. All right, if, like, if and only if ret resp was error, I called it something different. Is faulted? I really don't remember. Wait, that's because that's a task. I was like, that's not me. Thank you, Scott. Thank you, Scott. You're absolutely right. Okay. You actually need to be called async. You know what? I do too. That is a general rule that we have had in this particular application. And if I was Irish John Games, I would say in particular, but I'm not, so I won't. Where all of our async methods have the suffix async on them, so that you can remember to await them if needed. But yeah, okay. So it cannot be used as TLOOKUP item because model, because it's not an iLOOKUP item. All right. So now was error is a thing. So if it was an error, I'll solve it. We're actually going to return false here, and you're going to manually be returned true. Yeah, pretty sure Visual Studio will remind you if you forget. Okay, so account entry, new, not that we actually need it, but I'm gonna go ahead and populate the model that goes with this response model. And actually, I don't even want that either. The response model here can just be a response model base, which may give us back the ID. And this is going to be the account entry response. That's what I want this to be. Man, I am not paying attention. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to clear the account entry response every single time that we hit this submit form. And actually, we won't do that. We're always going to have a new one of these, and the only thing that we'll do is clear errors. That way we don't have to create a new response and model every single time. And we don't have to do null checks. And
I got a bad feeling
that'll make
about
this
this.
read only. Why do you have a bad feeling? This is a really good idea. This is the best idea ever. I use Shift Alt a lot. What does Shift Alt do? Shift spacebar? Wait, Control spacebar? What does Shift Alt do? Shift Alt click. I don't know what Shift Alt does. If you learned it. Shift Alt period. I don't think you learned Shift Alt period from me. I honestly don't know what Shift Alt period does. I know what Control Space or Alt Enter. Oh, oh, Shift Alt right angle bracket to select next. Multiple ChatGPT hallucinations. That's terrible life coding. Oh, but hilarious. Anyway, yes. Shift Alt period, which is since you're holding down Shift, it's right angle bracket. But yeah, selecting the next instance of the same thing that you have selected. I love that very, very much. Very much. I just have to say one of my voice commands if I can remember them. Hi, Life Coding. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to another week of coding, coding, coding. Okay, so look up list state. 59. Oh, right. Line 7. Line 7, you do not implement it because you are supposed to return. Wait, what? Probably because it's not saved. I am here, yes. Very loudly. Oh my gosh. Okay, okay. This is going to be my one and only gripe comment dialogue monologue. Just because live coding's all caps reminded me of it. So, I could just be too sensitive. We'll say that I'm too sensitive. But here's a situation that happened during one of last week's meetings. Each week, we meet with the client where it's the entire contract team and the entire contract stakeholders. So there are 3 contract stakeholders and 6. Anyway, it doesn't matter. 6 or 7 contract team. And so we went into this meeting and we're talking about the progress that we've made, the things that we have on the schedule for this iteration, and who's assigned what, and the progress that we've made so far. I think I already said progress. But during the meeting, one of the stakeholders was like, "Hey, let's take a look at this thing real quick." And then the person that was driving, which was the project manager, is like, "Okay, where do we look at this?" And so he's like, "Just open up a Windows Store." And he's like, "Okay." So I'm opening up Windows Store. He goes there. And he's like, "All right, now go to the applications page in Windows Store." So he goes to the application page in Windows Store. He's like, "Now look through the comments." And jokingly, the project manager is like, "How do you want me to sort them? By lowest rating first? Because, none of the comments have good ratings." And I'm like, I'm already, by this point, other things have happened and I'm already frayed and my nerves are just not wanting to take stuff like that. But he says, and they have a laugh. But he's like, "No, no, no. So look at our rating. Our rating went up from 3.5 to 4 ever since Umberto came in and made the new UI." And I'm like, "I'm sure it was more than just me. There have been other improvements made to the application in the latest releases." And then leads into, "All right, now look at the second response." And the second response is in all caps: "This application is crap. It's unusable. Font size is too big." And they had mentioned to me before, like one of our work items is having the UI respond to different screen sizes. Like if the user takes the app, moves it to the bottom corner, and has it snap like this, they want the app to be more Responsive isn't the word, even though that's a word that I use. It's adaptive. Have a more adaptive UI. And so the way that they've been telling me to do that, no, not mobile friendly, because this only works on desktops. So can you tell what? Yes, I will be able to tell you that. And so what they want me to do is, instead of implementing good UX behavior and doing best practices for UI, they want me to make the text smaller when the screen gets smaller. And we had talked about this a million years ago. That's like, that is not the answer for how you make an app respond to changing sizes. It's like we rework the UI so that it presents better on that size window. And it has a minimum window size, which is great because I can make everything fit into that smallest size and then adjust as it grows. But they're like, well, look, there's this person that is complaining about the font size in the app being too big. And I'm like, one person is complaining about that. And I was using the design guidelines from the company for what the minimum font size should be, which is 16 pixels universally across all apps as the base font size. Then if the device dimensions change, which we support down to 1280 by 720, then that's when you can scale the font down to 12 pixels. And it's based off of device size, not window size. And it's like, I know about these things. It's on our features list. I will be working on that, but call me out during a meeting and make me look like I'm making all the wrong choices about the UI. Oh, you're poking the wrong lion. No thanks. So anyway, that got my panties in a bunch. And again, I was probably just being too, what's the word? Too touchy on it, too sensitive. But I don't, I don't thrive in that kind of environment. That's just not me. So probably be finding another environment soonish. Okay, so Scott wanted to know about this ref keyword on line 21. And the reason that I'm using it here is because initialized is a value type, it's a bool. And so by default, value types are passed by value. But here I'm actually wanting to change the value of this variable inside of this method. And so I'm passing the reference to the address that will hold the value for this variable, so that when it gets changed inside of this set field right here, then it will also update the underlying variable. If this was just a user-defined object, like a class, then it would pass by default by reference anyway, so we don't need the ref keyword there. For example, here, where we're passing the TLOOKUP item. Right, because this is a Boolean, which is a value type, that wouldn't work. That's the main reason. If the thing that you're passing is a struct, primitive, anything that is a value type, then it's not going to change the value that is being contained by this variable. It is only going to pass the value of that. I mean, it's simply that. The most simplest form to put it is, when you are sending the contents of this variable to the method without the ref keyword, then this thing will only get, it'll populate field with that value. it'll populate that variable with that value. So for example here, property name is a string, which is a value type. So if I call raise property changed with some string, instead of passing that variable to this, and if I change that variable here, it won't affect the underlying variable that was passed, that was circles. Maybe if you read more about it, you'd hear it in a more cohesive way. Okay, anyway, Deflex did come in. Hi, Deflex. I saw part of your streams ish. Kind of. Not fully. Oh, man. Oh, man. Busy times. Busy times. Do you know how to use Zoom in a browser? Yeah, and that's what I recommended to them. So this is a desktop app, so keep that in mind. People aren't typically used to control scrolling or control shift plus, control shift minus. Oh, right. In Visual Studio, it's control shift left angle bracket and right angle bracket. So it's not typically expected for you to be able to control scroll to zoom, but it's definitely you can do it in our app. So if you snap it down to the bottom corner and it doesn't fit the way you want, control scroll. Just control scroll as a feature of our application and publish it as this is how you make the UI smaller if you need it to be smaller. Okay. Then Deflex said, at least I do get a kick out of defending my product, but that's not something most people get a kick out of. No. I would expect my project manager and I to have a discussion about it, which could be an argument, which could be me defending it, but it's to him. And I need to convince him that the approach that I'm taking is good. Most of the time, I would expect him to trust my decisions as a developer, as a professional developer, to implement it in a way that really thanks 1 million in GPT. That I would implement it in a way that is going to accomplish the thing in using best practices, using clean code, blah 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 blah. And then if you see something off about it, but he and I would talk, and then we would be on a united front when we talk with the client, as opposed to what happened during that meeting and other meetings and all the time. I'm okay, but I usually call out aggression similarly aggressively. Yes. And then Deflex says I want to do HoloLens stuff, but it's not working out. Yeah, it's so hard to find. Word that mean examples. Hard to find examples and tutorials on how to do just about anything to do with the HoloLens specifically, but also AR in general. Because what you get is stuff like Vuforia that is mostly focused on marker-based AR. It's like, I don't want to do it marker-based. I want all of the technology that's in my headset for placing holograms in the real world. Anyway, so then Scott printed out or pasted out ChatGPT's response, which is when a method parameter is declared with the ref keyword, the method can modify the value of the original parameter rather than just copy. This can be useful in scenarios such as when you need to modify the value of a primitive type or value type parameter within a method and have those changes reflected outside of the method, when you need to modify the value of a reference type parameter, such as an object within a method, and have those changes reflected outside of the method. But again, in C#, when you are passing an object, when you're passing a user created class, it will by default pass by reference. And that's why you probably aren't used to putting the ref keyword, because just about everything that we pass into parameters or into methods is a reference type, is a class. And so you can do parameter dot property name, and you will modify the original object's property value for that property type. Words. Okay, so where were we in this process? We were trying to get the add to complete. So we'll have our current response be await lookup service add item. And so our lookup service also needs, do I not have any open, a method at lookup item, which it does. Oh no, which is not async. Oh my goodness, man. Consistency is key. When are you streaming next, Deflex? So Deflex did say, I do have a question about it, but I don't want to derail the stream, so I may ask it during a community day. And that sounds good to me. I am 100% okay with that. Okay, and you will give me a response model base int. We have open positions, by the way. It is C#, WPF, C++, and some other team. That's cool. If I do start looking for a different environment, I think is how I put it, the first thing that I would do is try to get put on a different project within the organization that or within the company that I'm already working on. The next thing that I would do is something else that is not getting a job for other people, working for another people. Not that way, at least. Okay, if resp was error, then ret resp dot add errors resp error messages. That's really cool. I'm really, really happy for you, too. I was in a pretty good, like, again, the work for the previous job that I was doing was fantastic. I loved it. I really, really, really enjoyed working for the Rocky Mountain Arsenal on the apps, and it was a good experience with my previous supervisor. But then the next supervisor came in, and it just went downhill from there. And I stuck with it as long as I could. So then I left. So then I came to this job where I had a really good upfront experience where I was working directly with the client, fulfilling their needs, wants, desires. And then I get on the team and the dynamic shifts a lot. Where it's like, okay, I'm not allowed to talk to the client in an open, transparent way. I have to hide things behind the proper verbiage. You can't just be open and honest. You can't be an adult. You have to be high school, playground, whatever, hiding things and lying. It's not lying though, but it is. Like this, it just rubs my my FI wrong. Okay, so anyway, what I'm doing here is I am accumulating the error messages and transferring them to the response model that is actually going to be returned by this method. Yeah. So every week we have a progress meeting, essentially, a weekly status meeting where we are face to face with the client and we're talking about what things the clients want. And if we're in the middle of an iteration, then these are the things that we have already agreed on. This is the progress that we've made as a team. Yeah, it really is weird to me, but I kind of like it. I like being able to meet with the client as a team. But the thing that I don't like is that the engagements have been very confrontational. It's been a very difficult process. It's like, can we just be adults instead? Is it validation messages? Failures. And the answer is no, we can't. We have to shout at each other. And the more one person shouts, the louder another person gets. Consultation companies regularly get sued by clients, for the record. They sue each other as adults. Yeah. That's about it. That's the only thing they know how to do that's adult. Let's do court. But then even the like behind the scenes for that is very juvenile and very immature. I feel like having you join so you can be seen but not heard. Actually, no. Each developer talks. Each like our QA, he speaks. He talks about our current issues and what the status of them are, where he is in testing to see if they are actual things, and then creating Azure DevOps work items if needed, otherwise updating the tickets. Then our other team that does testing for UEFI stuff, so I can say that. Um, so they have UEFI testing, and there are two people that are focused around doing a lot of hardware type stuff, and they say their portion of it. And then there are four developers that all talk about the progress that they've made on the work items that they've been given. And it's really cool. It's a really cool environment. I love it because we get to talk with them and be like, we're making progress. We're doing really cool stuff. And you're gonna like what we have to offer. Here's a demo. Like some weeks we just do demos and it's awesome. But the way that it ends up going usually is let's be children and first of all having our team say no a lot as opposed to at the moment we are doing blah. Do you want us to put that as a priority? Or do you want us to just add it to the items, prioritize it, and then put it in the correct iteration? Because I understand that there's a lot of stuff that the project manager would need to juggle if we allowed them to just willy nilly say, by next week, we want this feature. It's like we haven't even heard about that feature. Can't just go throwing that in. Deflex says, I used to have an IT contract with a local municipality, and I asked one of the senior judges their casually, I asked him, what's a simple rule I should follow as a business so that I can always win in any court battle that may inevitably show up? And he said back, if you want a guaranteed win, that's very simple. Have it never arrive in court, aka settle outside for any price. Obvious. He said the only people that win in his courtroom are attorneys and their fees. Yeah. And that is the truth. Since the account was successfully added, add a transaction for the starting balance. And it's going to be a deposit. Starting deposit equals new deposit entry view model. Okay, so one thing that we get back from our response here is the new account ID, the new lookup item ID. So let's update our underscore account record ID, account.id. I don't know if I want to update the account ID yet. Lookup item. Hello? Lookup item dot item dot. It's not list item ID. It's going to be because I am constraining T lookup item just to I lookup item view model, I'm not going to get the ID. That's no good. I can set the value text equal to this, but I don't think that that's what I want to do. Maybe resp dot no, I have to be able to set the ID for the lookup item itself because I'm adding the lookup item to the cache and that thing needs a value. So yeah, let's go with lookup item dot value text equals resp dot record ID dot toString. Because I think in the implementations for this, nope, shmata. The set method sets the ID. All right, we're gonna have to figure that out. Brains, my brains. Wait, where am I? Where am I? Look up list state. Yeah, I need to keep going with that. All right. Anyway. I have to think about that. Deflex says you should just take a megaphone and a big, like, billboard scoreboard. And anytime people start yelling, you should pretend to keep score, having a buzzer sound for each point. That would just be more noise. And I would prefer less noise. I would actually prefer active listening. Okay, maybe Oh man. I need a way to be able to set the ID on my lookup item. And since my lookup item does not have is not constrained to having a T key or T key T item, and I have no way of setting the ID. I have to think about that. Marcus is saying, I used to do tech support for a company, but was never allowed to contact the customer directly. Given that it was a legacy web forms app that I did not write, probably the best thing, otherwise I would have criticized the hell out of it. Probably the best thing, otherwise I would have criticized the hell out of it to the customer. Be like, you know what? We should probably, modernize this and maybe take it out of web forms. At least MVC. Okay, we'll get that in a second. For now, we need to create a new deposit. Oh. We don't do this here. Okay. This will only add the lookup item, period. Regardless of whether it's an account or a pay to or any of those other things. Because otherwise, I would want to create a add account. Oh my goodness, I'm going back and forth on this. I have an accounts controller with an account service. I have an account service. I have an account service. Live coding says, I don't allow myself on customer calls. Sometimes I get roped in for SAML integration questions and vendor stuff, as I always say. I should never, as I always say, I should never be allowed to speak in public on behalf of the company. I tend to get a little wacky and I'm way too open. Yeah, and it's like, I don't understand why we can't be. Like, one of Sajetti's core values is honesty, which has to do with integrity, which has to do with transparency. And I understand that there are certain things that you don't want to promise, for example, to a client. But also, like the things that we are refraining from discussing are like, if we talk about it now, we will save headaches later. But instead, we kind of like, I wish I had a concrete example for you. Let's say, here's a hypothetical concrete example. Let's say that the customer asked us to make toast. And we didn't do things like ask questions about the toast. We didn't ask, okay, how toasted do you like your toast? Do you like it lightly toasted? Do you like it medium toasted? Do you like it heavy toasted? Because these are probing questions that you would ask. Like, what kind of settings do you want? What kind of ability to customize it do you want? Do you want to be able to choose your setting at runtime for how toasted do you want your toast? Then the first we don't do that. If we did that and we got an answer and they said something like, we would like to be able to choose how toasted we want the toast. The next thing that we might do would be to create a toaster that has a knob where you can set these settings for toast, but regardless of what setting you set it to, it makes the same level of toast. And we know that that happens, but we don't tell the client this. It's like, okay, we should probably discuss that. Be like, we only have the capability of making one level of toast. So what level would you like that set to? My daughter used to turn up the dial to make the toast faster. I mean, if it works, I guess. All right, to continue on with this hypothetical, um, um, I can't think of the word, situation. I'm just going to call it a hypothetical situation, contrived situation. Let's say that we were able to set the toaster settings, but now the next question, and these are the things that I think of ahead of time, by the way. We haven't even started making the toaster, and these are like the pitfalls that I know we're going to, that I can think of that we're going to run into. So why don't we just ask up front? So the next thing is, we want to be able to choose light, medium, or heavy toast. The next question is logically, what does light toast mean? How toasted is light toast compared to how toasted is medium toast, compared to how toasted is heavy toast? And if we get those answers up front, then we won't need to adjust the app. And we won't get comments back saying, I put this on light. I used this toaster and I put it on light and I ended up getting toast that is what I would call a medium toast because user experience says light toast looks like this, medium toast looks like this. But we don't do that. We're like, let's just hold on to that information and then we'll do it our way without even looking at industry standards, too. We just do it our way. And then if they don't like it, then tough. We'll say that's how it is, as opposed to even saying. So anyway, it just goes on, and it's like, I don't, that rubs me raw. And I know that I'm like saying this hypothetical situation about toast, but this is stuff like UI design, UI choices, the actual mechanics underneath how we go about doing a hardware test and what it reports. And it's just like, we do it with everything. By UI, do you mean a toast icon? In the UI, absolutely. I mean, how do you want your toast to appear? Do you want it to be in the top right, bottom right? I mean, these are decisions that I'll make, and I'll come up with a few examples, and then you tell me what looks good. And then we do user testing, and then user says, well, I'm expecting it to be over here. And then we go with that. Sure. But we can't do that. We just say, first, we can't do toast. Second, if we are forced to do toast, then we'll only have one way to do toast, full toast. Third, if there are user issues with that, then we'll say we can't fix it. Fourth, if we're forced to fix it, we'll fix it in a way that isn't industry standard still. And it just goes on and on and on and on. Is there such a thing as French toast on one side only? Actually, yes. I've seen that. Crack an egg on top of a toast, cinnamon sugar, I guess, and salt and butter. And then you fry it in butter on both sides. It's not industry standard though. I like that. Anyway, no more griping. I just want to get this done. So we have an account service. I should just use my account service. Let's go back to our account, add account dialog. And we're going to inject, nope, not the dialog, the form. And we're going to inject an account service. I'm still going to need to look up list state. So I'm getting rid of that. Then we're going to say account service.add, create account. And instead of sending the view model, we are going to send the actual account entry view model. And we will update this method to accept it. Which only exists here. So we need to move this over into our shared. I'm going to go ahead and move this into there so that we can create it when we make it over to our landing spot. So I'm going to move this over to shared. I like saying shared. Shared library. I'm going to move it here first so that I can drag and drop. It'll ask me if I want to move, and then it'll ask me if I want to adjust the namespaces, which will happen everywhere. And that way I don't have to manually update the namespaces myself. Not fail. It worked. It worked. I just didn't finish. Okay, now it failed. Okay, so now you are going to be an account entry view model. And the reason that I need the whole account entry view model for create account is because we have that starting balance that we need in order to do the create a new transaction crap. Single responsibility. So this service would be breaking that because while creating the new account, we'll also need to create a new transaction. I think you should do it again because that approach is not going to work. I really do need this thing to take only the view model and then a separate method to do the transaction, the initial deposit. So var model equals account dot to view model. Okay, so this will give us back our lookup item, our new account as a lookup item. You're nullable? You are nullable. No, C# variables have to start with a letter or underscore. So you can do public const string underscore 12 equals the string 12. I, Okay. So if, how about this? If ret resp is null, we're going to add an error. Something about the thing can't be null. Something about the response was null, and we expected something, I think. And then we return. And the reason that we return is because we will be displaying this account entry response model. Except we don't need to because we have an edit context, and I've been using edit context. So we know that we have an edit context, which means that we can add. Oh, what can we add? Can we add an error? I don't know. I'm gonna go with this for now, just to get through this. So we'll add that error. We'll localize it and everything because we've been putting everything into a dictionary to be localized. Otherwise, if it was an error, then we'll do this thing that we did over here in the lookup item service. So blind. We'll just go here. And then we will control F12 and head to the server. It wasn't there. It was in lookup list state, that's why. And we will get all of these errors. I have another idea that'll make this easier. Since I'm putting this in two places now, how about if we have an account entry response, add errors, and we take another response model as our parameter. So let's do ret resp. Problem is that we won't know the of t on this. So unless we constrain it to be the same exact generic type on it, we won't be able to use it. And this is not an interface, right? Yeah, this is actually a base class. So if I had an interface, just willy-nilly creating things, then I could do, you'll have exceptions, you'll have validations, you'll have a get only this thing, you have the int record count. I don't care about does. I don't care about does. You have a void clear, void add error. Like, I don't care about the majority of these. I don't know why I'm actually copying them. And then you were at get only. Cool. And then we'll have one more add errors of iResponse model, other response. And that will look like exactly what I had here. this other response. And then you will just be the method calls. Yeah? Yeah. And that way I can just add all of the errors from any other response model to the response model that I'm working with. And so now that just looks like this. Copy all of the errors from this response model to this response model. And that does make this one implemented. I guess I'll call this create because add lookup item sounds like we were just trying to add a lookup item to the list of lookup items. And there was, yeah, cool. That works. Corey L. Weathers, oh my gosh. Thank you so much for the raid. We are 8 minutes away from the end of the stream though. But thank you so much for raiding in. Oh man, I haven't been lurking on your stream lately. Feels bad, man. No worries though. So, hello to all of you that just came in. I am One Lion. I am a .NET developer, and I've been doing Blazor. I've been streaming Blazor. Bang Hurricane. Um, I've been streaming Blazor for 3-4 years now, maybe more. And I used to work somewhere where I was able to stream my day job, and I did my day job on stream, which was great and fantastic and fun. But I since left that position, and I am now working for a consulting firm where I am not able to stream my work, but I still wanted to stream Blazor. So I take Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays to do some Blazor development. There are community days on Friday. And the project that we're working on is a financial management tracker. It's not intended to do anything like replace Mint or the bot. How long has the bot not actually been on? Maybe like the entire stream? Here we are at the end of the stream. Well behaved randos in chat are allowed to speak on stream, on community day. Yeah. We'll, we'll do that very, very soon once I get the bot turned on. Just a minor oversight. Like I usually have a Dukasoft here. I'm sure many of you know Dukasoft. He's everywhere. He's awesome. He's the best non-bot bot ever. But he often takes care of doing my bot messages. But this is the project that we're working on. It's an open source financial management tracker. It's not intended to do anything like replace Mint. It's for my own purposes. Like I've been doing my own manual tracking of financial transactions, so deposits, payments, and transfers, and keeping track of my accounts. And I have a spreadsheet that uses a connection to SQL to show me my account as a yearly printout essentially of what I've spent, how much I'm planning on spending by the end of the year, how much I'm planning on making by the end of the year, that kind of thing. So I have that in an Access database. And I've had it there since like 2012 or 13 or 14, one of those years. And I'm like, it's finally time for me to move this over to a web project. And not only am I doing it as a web project, but because of the magic of .NET and things like a Blazor web view, I'm able to do this as also not just the web app, which here is the web app, by the way, not just a web app, but also a desktop app that uses the exact same UI. It uses the same client side. Oh, I can't build currently. Uses the same client side services. Does it? Create account is supposed to send us back an account entry view model. Oh, account entry view model. And it's supposed to take an account entry view model too? No. What? You're supposed to also take an account. Anyway, what about a HoloLens app? So we're working on it. Deflex is currently the one that's doing the majority of the research on that. But we can now use WinUI 3, which means UWP apps, on HoloLens. And we're trying to figure out what exactly that means. How do you do that? But yeah, here's a HoloLens. I love technology, and HoloLens is one of the technologies, or augmented reality in general is one of the technologies that I really, really, really want to do development for. Gosh, I interrupted myself and I already forgot all of the things. Account service, create, using that. And I wanted to actually show the app running on desktop. So I have a WPF app, I have a UWP app, and I have a Maui application that all use the same UI. I didn't do anything with the UWP app, but this is my research into trying to create this app for the HoloLens without very much effort as far as changing the UI. But my assumption is that it's going to be set up similarly to how the Maui app and the WPF app are, using this Blazor WebView control, which is just a WebView 2 with some extra bits and pieces like the host page and being able to render components directly in the WebView 2. Yeah. Account entry. I needed to go to the client side. I only have a client side implement. What? I only have a client side implementation. That doesn't seem right. What is this then? This is a server. Oh my goodness. Okay, are you gonna build now? Anyway, are you using MRTK for the components or something else? So I was using MRTK. I have not been doing very much with the HoloLens lately at all. If you are interested in seeing someone that's constantly experimenting with it, his name is Solipsist. Solipsist. He is always trying something with the HoloLens on his stream, or at least, virtual technologies, XR in general. But yeah, he's definitely doing that. Once I get through this project, through this Blazor project, I am planning on doubling down on figuring out how we can use Blazor with HoloLens to do good UI, more than just flat screen. Like, I'm hoping that we're able to maybe make a wrapper or find a wrapper on something like Three.js or A-Frame and make a fully I was going to say fully immersive, but it's augmented reality, which is not fully immersive. Make an AR application using Blazor, which would be awesome. I started doing that maybe 2 years ago, and then I was like, I need to focus on this. This is my primary thing, which is making desktop and cross-platform applications that don't involve XR, which I'm really sad about because I really, really, really want to do that. Yeah, I can't show you the app at the moment, which is kind of sad because I made a lot of changes and we were in the middle of making those changes. Wait, this is a lie. The cake is a lie. What are we broken on? Add account form cannot change from account view model to account entry view model on account, add account form. So I had just said something about needing to use the view model for some reason. Right, because I didn't want to do both the add a new transaction. Would you? I didn't want to do both add a transaction and create a lookup account in this one service. So this is specifically talking about just the account table in the database, and that's what this account service is for. So those two changes that I just made, I need to change back, make myself a note, and then we're going to have to end the stream there. But I will be back on Wednesday because I got to get back to my regular day job. So Control Z on you. Go to you, Control Z. Go to you, Control X. Yeah, that's exactly what I meant to do. Okay, so you are account entry. Okay, now we should build. Now we should be able to build that. Are you trying? Just need it to build. That's all. Add account form. Send the request to create the account item. If the account was created successfully, not yet, Copilot, add the initial deposit to mark the starting balance. Man, that also means that I didn't want the return type to be account entry view model. But anyway, built for now. Return type should probably be the account lookup view model instead. Okay, so I have notes for myself everywhere. But yeah, as Live Coding was telling us, we have a community day on Fridays where I invite you guys to hop onto one of our voice channels in Discord. I'll hop to this screen. Where we can discuss technology verbally. Your voice will come through on the stream. We'll have some hangout time, talk about anything else. We don't have to work on this project at all. We just talk about the cool things that are all about technology and whatever you guys are interested in, whatever you might be doing with your current journey, with your development process. I answer questions if there are any questions about specific problems you're running into. I typically try to do that anyway as the stream goes on. I like to respond to if there's something that I'm doing that you don't understand, or you're working on a project yourself that you ran into an issue. We have a lot of really, really cool people that hang out in our Discord. They are generally willing to respond to questions if they can help. They love to help. And yeah, so then these videos are recorded as well, and I post them to my YouTube channel no sooner than 24 hours after the stream, because when you're an affiliate, you have to have your videos be exclusive to Twitch for 24 hours. So you'll see this video and all of the past videos for this project in particular on my YouTube channel. What raid target? Because I don't have time to hang around. I do have to get back to work, but I don't mind raiding. So who deflux? said Lix. Who else? The only one worth reading, obviously. To which said Lix. Okay, so we will be reading. Right, Seto Lix. And if you feel like hanging about, he is a game developer. He's working on a I don't know what he's working on. He's working on a game. Mostly just hanging out on his stream is what I do. I lurk a lot and watch him work because I like hanging around people that are doing work. But yeah, that's going to be it for my day, though. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'll be back on Wednesday, 10:30 a.m. Mountain Time, which is UTC -6 currently, I think. So, yeah. Ow. I just tore my nail off. Okay. Ciao for now. I'll do the waiting. I'll turn my music up. Turn my microphone off. And then turn my camera off. Just so you know what I'm doing. Because you got to know that. Bye. Still waiting.